One homeowner compared home insurance rates online before renewal and saved $380. Another homeowner used the same comparison tool and found their broker was already cheaper. Same tool, opposite result, because which approach gets you the lower rate depends entirely on what an underwriter sees in your file. I've spent nearly a decade working inside the Canadian insurance industry. In this video, I'm going to explain when a comparison site produces the better rate, when a broker does, and the approach that gets you the best outcome regardless of which you start with. Before I walk through the comparison, I want to clarify how both channels actually work. A comparison platform aggregates quotes from multiple insurers and presents them in one place. The quotes are generated based on the information you provide through a standardized form. The platform does not advocate for your specific property. It processes your inputs and returns what the insurers in its network are willing to offer based on those inputs. An insurance broker has relationships with multiple insurers and submits your application to whichever ones they judge most likely to offer a competitive rate for your specific profile. A good broker advocates for your property in a way a comparison platform cannot. They can explain context around your claims history, describe renovations that reduce your risk profile, and access insurers that do not participate in comparison platforms. Neither is universally better. The question is, which one is better for your specific situation? Let me walk through when each approach tends to produce better results. Part 1. When comparison platforms tend to produce the best rates. Comparison platforms produce their best results for properties that underwriters consider straightforward. Specifically, a detached home with standard construction, updated systems, no recent claims, a reasonably strong credit profile, and no non-standard features. For this type of property, multiple insurers will be willing to compete for the business. The platform's ability to return several quotes simultaneously means the homeowner sees the full competitive range in one session. A broker may have access to similar insurers, but their manual process means they are less likely to check every option at every renewal. 3 situations where a comparison platform typically produces a competitive or better result. First, when you have a standard property with no flags. Standard means detached or semi-detached, electrical updated within the last 25 years, no polybutylene or lead plumbing, roof under 20 years old, no oil tanks, and no previous non-renewal. For this profile, multiple insurers want your business and the platform services that competition clearly. Second, when you have a strong claims-free record. A homeowner with no claims in the last 5 years is an attractive underwriting profile. Multiple insurers will price aggressively for a clean record. The platform reaches all of them simultaneously. Third, when your renewal is approaching and you want a fast market baseline. The platform returns quotes in minutes. The equivalent broker process typically takes days. Speed matters if you want time to negotiate or switch before the renewal date. I've put a link in the description to compare home insurance rates from multiple Canadian providers in 3 minutes. Part 2. When a broker tends to produce the best rates. Brokers produce their best results for properties that require advocacy or context that a comparison platform form cannot capture. 3 situations where a broker typically produces a better result. First, if you have a non-standard property. Older construction, knob and tube wiring, polybutylene plumbing, oil tanks, roofs over 25 years old, high-value homes, acreages, or properties with unique features will often return either no quotes or uncompetitive quotes from a comparison platform. These properties require a broker who can explain the risk profile to an underwriter directly, present the property in context, and find an insurer willing to price it fairly. Second, if you have received a non-renewal notice. When an insurer declines to renew your policy, that information becomes part of your insurance history record. Comparison platforms will typically return limited or no options for a homeowner with a recent non-renewal. A broker with relationships at specialty insurers can often find a solution the platform cannot reach. Third, if you have filed a claim in the last 5 years. Recent claims affect how comparison platform algorithms assess your application. A broker can present the context around the claim, whether it was a weather event isolated, fully remediated, or otherwise mitigated, in a way a standardized platform form cannot. That context can move you from a declined or high-cost tier to a competitive one. Part 3. The approach I would actually use. This is where most homeowners make the mistake. They treat the broker and the comparison platform as competing choices, when the real advantage comes from using one against the other. I would use both, not as competing options, but as sequential steps. Run the comparison platform first to establish a market rate baseline. The comparison costs 3 minutes and returns what multiple insurers are willing to quote for your profile. Whatever that number is, write it down. Then take that number to your broker. Tell them what the comparison returned and ask whether they can match it, beat it, or explain why the platform result may not reflect what you would actually receive after the full underwriting process. If your broker can match or beat the comparison result, stay. If they cannot and the platform quote is genuinely competitive after reviewing the insurer's terms, switch. This approach changes the dynamic entirely. You are no longer accepting a renewal based on what your broker offers without knowing what the market offers. You have a number. Your broker has to respond to it. Most homeowners never have that number when they renew. That is why renewal pricing can feel so one-sided. Here is the reframe. The question is not which approach is better. The question is which approach is better for your specific property and risk profile. For standard properties with strong records and no flags, comparison platforms are fast, competitive, and often find rates that brokers do not proactively shop for at renewal. For non-standard properties, complex histories, or recent claims, a broker's relationships and advocacy are worth more than any comparison algorithm. The homeowners who consistently pay the least use both. They run the comparison to understand the market, and they use their broker to navigate what the market cannot handle. 2 questions to answer before your next renewal. Question 1. Is my property standard? Standard means the features described earlier. Updated systems, clean history, no flags. If yes, a comparison platform is likely to produce competitive quotes. If no, start with a broker. Question 2. Do you know what market rate you should be paying? If you have not run a comparison recently, you do not know the answer to this question. Run the comparison first. It costs nothing. It takes 3 minutes. Whatever it returns, bring that number to your next renewal conversation. A comparison platform and an insurance broker are not competing options. They are different tools that work best in different situations. Using both gives you more information than either provides alone. For most standard Canadian homeowner profiles with clean records, a comparison platform will return competitive quotes from multiple insurers simultaneously. For properties with flags, non-standard features, or recent claims, A broker's relationships and advocacy are worth more than any algorithm. The comparison link and the free homeowner checklist are both in the description. If your renewal is coming up in the next 90 days, run the comparison first. It takes 3 minutes and costs nothing. Whatever it returns, bring that number to your broker before you accept your renewal. If you found this useful, subscribe. I publish one of these every week. Everything I cover comes from nearly a decade of working inside the Canadian insurance industry. See you next week.